विकी राय को किसने मारा है कोई नहीं जानता।
मेरे बेटे की हत्या की जांच के लिए सीबीआई इंक्वायरी बैठाई जाए।
बहुत दिन से देख रही हूँ आप इस केस को घुमा के किसी और ही दिशा में पहुंचाना चाह रहे हैं।
अगर हम चाहें ना अभी आपको इस केस से हटा भी सकते हैं।
The Great Indian Murder, produced by Ajay Devgan and directed by Tigmanshu Dhulia, is now streaming on Disney plus Hotstar. The screen adaptation of Vikas Swarup's second novel, Six Suspects, has a stellar cast and is shot in locations as diverse as the streets of Chandni Chowk to the beaches of Andaman. Hello and welcome to Behind the Mix with me, Karma Paljor. And joining me today are the people who've made it possible. We are joined by Director of Photography, Rishi Punjabi.
Hello, Karma.
Sound Engineer, Rakesh Ranjan.
Hello.
And colorist, Kiran Kumar Kota of Prasad Film Labs. And congratulations to you all for the release of this fabulous new series, The Great Indian Murder. So, my first question is to you, Rishi. At what stage during the pre-production you decided that this series will be on Dolby Vision?
See, because I come from a film background and I always want the things to look as real as possible. So I wanted all the colors and textures to be retained as authentically as possible. Because this series has traveled a lot of states in India, and every place has its own character. I always feel that the locations play a character in themselves. So I wanted those things to come out. Because we shot in Andamans, which is like very colorful. Then we have Rajasthan, which has its own texture. So everything needed to be very authentic. So I wanted the audience to feel as if they are there with the characters in the locations. And when I came to know about Dolby Vision, how good it is, and I saw the results. So the way it is retaining the blacks and the color reproduction, the wide gamut that it has. So we just thought there's no other way than going other than Dolby Vision.
Right. And Kiran, can you, give our viewers the differentiation between while working with an SDR technology, to now advancing to HDR?
Yeah, SDR means that is the space of Rec 709. This HDR means Rec 2020. So we are having the wider range. The range is good, like 100 nits to the 1000 nits. So we can retain so much of highlight details. Well, when we are working, as Rishi sir said, he shot on so many areas. There is so much of temperature variation. So we can bring all the details in the HDR. But in SDR, after a particular point, all your highlights and everything you can't able to retain it. It will be like clipped and it's standard. In the 1000 nits we can show more detail, good color contrast ratio. Everything we can able to show. Whatever DOP shot in that high dynamic range, we can able to present it in HDR. That is the advantage in the HDR.
Right. And Rishi, as the DOP of this, you talked about traveling across India, capturing the stunning colors of India from the beaches
Andamans,
to the other places and all. So I think, you might have faced challenges when it comes to lighting, when it comes to makeup, when it comes to lensing. How different was it, compared to what you had to do earlier when you had to shoot in SDR?
We were shooting in a lot of different places. Like not every location was in our control. Like the lanes of Nizamuddin and Chandni Chowk and all. It had in the night sequences and all. It had a lot of various sources. Like there were tungsten sources, there were LED sources and all. Previously on SDR and all, the colors would merge into each other, and the highlights might burn. The blacks will be like a bit milky. But in this case now with HDR and Dolby, everything is in place as it used to happen in film. It's very lifelike. So the viewer feels that they are with the characters in the location. The blacks are crystal clear. Everything is really nice. And one particular sequence I remember is we were shooting in Andamans. It was a forest sequence in the night. So it was already challenging for us. And I was very worried about how it will hold up, how the blacks will hold up. And the shadow detail and the color, because it was very underexposed moonlight. Yeah. So, but the way the blacks and everything has turned out in the night sequence, I'm very happy with this. It's really good.
Right. So Kiran, taking a cue from that, shooting in Andaman at night, the only light source is the moon. Our experience from a viewer point of view is that the moment you go and shoot at night, and then you see blacks which are not black. So mostly night scenes were not clearly something that we enjoyed. And how different is it now, Kiran, that you have Dolby Vision?
The HDR, we can able to see more details, and the contrast ratio between the highlight to the shadow, we have to maintain that ratio. When in the HDR, no, it is very much under control. So when we are watching also, we enjoyed the contrast ratio, how it is coming and everything. But if you are slightly going to the SDR, it is like, everything is, the dark is very dark. I can't able to see the detail. But HDR, it is very nice. The detail in the shadow to mid-range area and everything, no, we can able to see it. Not only the shadows and thing, and Rishi sir shot in Rajasthan, and the very extreme situation also, we can retain the highlight also, not only the shadows. That is also one
Highlight
beauty.
detail.
Each and every sequence, because the story is revolving all over the India, Rajasthan, Andaman, Chennai, south, north, east, west. So there is different color temperatures in all over the places. He shot very nicely so that I can able to present in his satisfaction, in his vision, whatever his thoughts and everything we presented. And he liked a lot in HDR, because he is watching whatever he is watching in the location, and we are trying to achieve in that range in HDR.
Wow. So, Rishi, it's like an adventure, isn't it? Here you are going around capturing a stunning country. Our country is stunning. And everywhere you go, you have, different colors, very, very different from Rajasthan to Chennai. And you talked about Chandni Chowk. If you've ever been to Chandni Chowk, you can just imagine as you walk into those bylands at night, even during the day, the number of colors and the lights that you see. Is there one particular scene? I know that you talked about Andaman and shooting by moonlight. Was there anything else that stood out for you, and it was challenging, and how Dolby Vision helped in transforming that to you?
Yeah, one more thing, sequence. There's again in Chandni Chowk only, because we were following a character from the streets, which was very bright, okay, in the daytime. And then we had to go in the bylanes, which are very, very dimly lit. The characters to go and buy a gun there or something like that. That's very shady area. So there, it was so dark. Then I had to light up with little bit of bulbs and neon lights and stuff, so that we get some kind of a detail. So I was very worried when we go from those extreme highlights, which was outside near the Jama Masjid, and we are following in the one single shot into the lanes. So, but the way, again, as I'm telling you, the highlight detail which was outside in the exterior in Chandni Chowk, and when the camera travels through the by lanes and the dark areas, everything is very perfect. So that is really nice. The way it's holding the colors is really nice. I had some green colors inside the green tubes and all. The colors exactly what I shot.
Thank you, Rishi, for that. Moving over to sound now. Rakeshji, how important is sound in a series like The Great Indian Murder?
See, The Great Indian Murder, actually, if you see very closely, it is right across the length and breadth of the country. Right from Delhi, it goes to Calcutta, Chennai, Andamans, and Raipur in the east. So probably designing the soundtrack was, according to the genre of the film, it is a thriller, it's a murder mystery. So most of the emphasis, probably if you'll watch, you will just see the ambient sound which is there to tell you, okay, right now where we are in terms of the location of the narrative. But what has been actually used as in the sound design is the focus on the content, the narrative, how we have focused on the content, the tonal qualities, the textures, the levels of the different elements which we have used in the film, the elements of sound, how they have been used. It's minimalistic. That's the sound design and how it's been used in the film.
Rishi talked about at what stage they decided to go for Dolby Vision. When it comes to sound, when did you decide that this was definite and you would go with Dolby?
No, Dolby was always in my mind. Dolby is there when a project comes. All my films I do in Atmos, and this was my first exposure to the streaming platform. So there was no way I would not do a Dolby in it because the kind of flexibility it gives me to work on my levels, the kind of dynamics it helps gives me actually, and there was never a question ki, okay, Dolby will come in later. No, Dolby was there right from the day go ki we are doing it in Dolby Atmos, and that was very clear. And the whole sound design, if you see, it goes to very soft levels, very, very soft levels. And then it uses the upper range where it wants in terms of the narrative, the higher loud sounds. And it gives you immense flexibilities, you see, when you're on a Dolby platform in terms of the noise floor, and the whole dynamics is there to play.
Right. Rishi, you touched upon lighting there a little bit. Can you elaborate how different lighting is as compared to SDR in different locations, especially in the night?
Yeah, that's what. See, in night, what happens is I like to mix sources. As I said, suppose a scene is there inside a house, but I would have like some moon source coming in, uh, tungsten or like some street light coming in. At the same time, inside light will be different. So there will be different color temperatures of light. So the cameras are recording very nicely, but in SDR, the output is not exactly what we shot in the camera and also on location. But with HDR, with this system, the way it is coming out is exactly what we are doing on set. So I like the way it is merging because it creates a mood. Sometimes there's a billboard which is outside the house, which is a red color, and the red color is coming in the house, is streaming through. So which is like right now it's reproduced as it is. Earlier, the reds and all used to be very clipping in SDR and all. It will become smudgy. It will kind of muddy, and it will seep into the blacks. The black will become muddy also. But right now, it's not affecting the blacks. The blacks are being richer, so that is a good thing.
Right. So all in all, the experience that you get as a viewer is much more immersive. You'll see those colors.
Exactly.
You'll really see those blacks, which are so
Yes,
important.
yes, yes.
Talking about.
Because the hard work that we do on set is coming to the audience, and the audience is seeing exactly what we are doing it. So that is what a good thing for us is.
Right. So if you set yourself up, then certainly blacks will be more black. You'll have to watch it. You can't just go on explaining and talking about it. But
Exactly.
the idea is to watch it on Disney Plus Hotstar, and there you'll see the difference between what the earlier technologies were and what
Yes,
Dolby
yes.
Vision HDR is bringing to your screens. Kiran, I'll give you a very difficult
Exactly.
question. I know it's a difficult question. If you are to explain to a child about Dolby Vision HDR and the difference it brings to watching a series like this, like The Great Indian Murder, what will you tell the child? How will you explain it to a child?
In Dolby Vision HDR, I can able to say, right, see, nice sky is there, nice clouds are there, this is the sea, otherwise this is the trees, this is the tree color in each and every place. They can enjoy the atmosphere, the nature they can able to, enjoy if you can able to see proper images. That is, I can able to see, say to the child in a simplest form.
Okay, okay. Thank you for your explanation. Rishi, you want to go with taking on and explaining Dolby Vision HDR to a child?
Yeah. What I'll do is I'll take a piece of glass, dirty it, put it in front of the kid, and tell him look at the world. Then I'll remove the glass and I tell him now look at the world. This is Dolby HDR.
Brilliant.
Did you get it?
That's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Because you're a visual storyteller, and I guess that's how you imagine the world to be. You'll always visually and show me. What kind of conversations, Kiran, would you two have before you went into a particular scene or you started looking at some of the rushes? What is the planning and what is the talk that would go on between the two of you?
Before that, while shooting time itself, Rishi sir is sending me some images, and he is saying, just please do work and send the images. So I use it to grade, and I'm sending the images, and he is giving the, little bit of, I want like that, some kind of things he is used to tell me. So again, I'm resending it. So in that way, each and every scene we worked while shooting time itself. So when it is coming on the table, it is for us to discuss. It is very easy, and each and every scene, every location, we treated in a very, very good manner. Whatever he is thinking, what he is shooting it, and how to retain the lighting parts in the even there is good conversation part. The interrogation part is there. He superbly the lighting is there. So how to it is looking, we are taking in a Hollywood range and everything, the images and everything. So he is particular about each and every color, the light, how it is retaining it, and everything we worked out. And we are watching in the mobiles, we are watching in the laptops, we are watching in the TVs. Finally, okay, this is good, we achieved in a good part. So each and every scene we work like that only. We are testing it and we are checking it, and finally, okay, this is good, we are going ahead for each and everything,
Right.
because there is so many locations, and definitely the people will enjoy this series.
Right.
Every location having different kind of variety of the scenes and variety of the looks.
Right. And Rishi, between you and Tigmanshu, what kind of meetings, what kind of talks would you guys have before the shoots, or even before planning for the series?
Yeah, because as this series, as I told earlier, that it is not based in a particular state. It is traveling. So even his worry was same कि ऋषि कैसे लाएंगे हम लोग? How would we bring the difference in all the locations? So that's where I told him, don't worry, because I had palettes developed for all different states. So for the when the audience goes to Calcutta, they should feel the humidity, the Kolkata humidity. When they're in Andamans, they should feel the freshness of the sea and the blue. So that what not only with the location, it has to come with the costume also. A palette for the palette, it's not that only location is there. You have to alternate it in a way. The costumes have to help, the makeup also. So we planned the palettes for each and every state in a separate way. At the same time, it should not affect the entire overall palette of the series. So this was challenging because there are certain series which are based in a particular. In that case, it becomes easier for us. Then you set up an entire look for that particular location, and that's it. That's about it. But here, when you're traveling so much and you have to retain the color palette of the entire series, at the same time, those different states have to have this own flavor also. So that was the discussion in the beginning, how we cracked that, and I think we have been able to do it nicely because with the help of the art department, the costumes and the makeup, everything, it's like a complete teamwork. And at the end, exactly, Kiran bringing us all the whatever we have done, retained it and given it to us, and then Dolby Vision. So all put together, it's come out really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, sir, this you said is very interesting because this you said is your first experience with a streaming network. How challenging is it, or did you enjoy it immensely? If you did, what was your experience like?
To be very frank with you, I enjoyed the process. I loved it because see, it gave me that discipline which I have been fighting all these years in cinema. Here, let's have discipline of levels. Otherwise, the kind of levels in Hindi film industry or the Indian films, the way the levels are bizarre. The meters are almost in red. And so the whole focus is on the loudness. On this, when I was working on the streaming platform for this Hotstar, the focus was shifted from the loudness to the narrative and the content and the creative use of sound, which was highly enjoyable. I really loved it, and I came out and I told my friends, yeah, this is amazing to work, because you have certain parameters which in fact is good for the sound designers. It's so easy, and when I watched the streaming, I have the complete episodes I have watched. It is such a delight that what I have done and what I wanted to do has come out so nicely. So it gives me, as a designer, it gives me such a big satisfaction to work on a streaming platform. This is a much better and a more creative, I think, platform, the streaming platform to work on, because now you have to think in terms of actual elements. You cannot make something loud and say, okay, the audience will perceive something. Over here, the sensitivity of the narrative comes into play, which I found was very interesting.
Right, and Rishi, what are the extra bits that you have to do when you're shooting to keep in mind that there are so many different devices that this will be watched on, Dolby Vision?
Yeah. In fact, it's the other way around. I would say I did not have to worry at all about that because I knew I have the technology to support this. In fact, on the other end, if it was earlier the earlier technologies, the SDR and all, I would have been worried. I would have taken care of the highlights not getting too bright, or I would light up in a very controlled manner. But right now, I mean, because I knew that I'm in safe hands, the technology is there to take care of it. So then we just go ahead and shoot how we like to shoot, retaining the mood and the narrative, which helps the narrative, the kind of lighting we want to do. So no technical limitations for us during the shooting, because I know it's going to be seen nicely on all the devices.
Right. On that note, thank you very much to you all for joining us. I wish you all the best. I'm sure
Thank you very much.
this
Yeah.
series is going to be lapped up by all the viewers. And remember, for the next level entertainment experience, I would like you all to subscribe to Disney Plus Hotstar and watch The Great Indian Murder in Dolby Vision, which is streaming now. Thanks for watching.
Hotstar Specials presents The Great Indian Murder.